easily. I'm going to say 16-13.
I'll agree with that one. I would have to say a little bit towards Mythic. I'd probably say something around 16-11. But of course, guys, we are now live into the first round here. Mythic on the CT side, maximum effort back on the T side, and they're already lining themselves up for a push. But look at this position being taken here by Devilwalk. Unfortunately, Desi's going to spot that out very quickly, pick off a headshot, and now they're on their way in. But Anger grabbing that mid-air headshot. The smoke will come out. Does get a spot on Desi, but now they'll pick up the frag, and now Maximum Effort are going to get partial control of the B site.
The interesting thing, though, is that Semphis is pushed all the way through mid, so even though they're lining up for a retake from both sides of the B site, Semphis might be in position to slow that down, and he's going to do exactly that coming up from heaven right now. He'll take down Pith. Meanwhile, Mythic, they've got two players quickly on the heels of B main, and it's all going to work out perfectly for them. All dead and gone. Semphis, the last one to drop. Excellent retake.
And now Peter coming out there pretty big there with 3 kills as well. Great start for the Mythic guys and a good hold onto their CT. Exactly what they need to start this off. And as for Maximum Effort, this is a big question now. Do we see them continue that aggressive buying strategy here just on their second round when they force up with those upgraded pistols, or are they going to relax here for a little bit and wait for the first gun round?
So we'll see 2 SMGs come out. It's going to be triple FAMAS. And aggressive, like you say, for Maximum Effort this time, and needing to get a bomb plant down here as they've gone heavy. They got the first bomb plant. That's a start, but we'll see if they can get another, because that would really just open things up on third round. And Pitt's going to be solo on A. They've got 2 players supporting from Highway that'll look to rotate quickly. Anger's dropped from Vents. He's gone back toward B, so he's got a long rotation point, which means Lex and Peter have to be able to support Pitt and keep the efficiency inside the site. And already Pitt is making that play. Looks like it could be a possibility as Peter coming back in. He'll take down Semphis. Finally, the trades go back the other direction. And it is Maximum Effort who find the man advantage, dropping both Peter and Pitt.
Anger looking for a way to fall back as a grenade does connect back over onto Valens. It brings him down to just 7 HP. Keep in mind, low HP back over on Sank as well, down at 21. Anger is going to be able to possibly chase down or successfully chase down Devilwalk, picking up another frag, but Desi to respond. He brings us into a one-on-one with Anger, and now we have to see here. Desi trying to hold this off and get the response round here for his team. He does bring him down very low, 21 HP left, and Anger gets closer and closer, trying to connect that spray, but having a little bit of trouble, but Desi does clutch it out for the Maximum Effort side, and that's going to bring it up to a 1-1.
Very well done by Desi to hold his composure and figure out exactly the movement of his opposition. Very good overall to get the eco as well, considering that when things started to go into that site, we saw Pith to get those first kills, but it was the trades that came immediately back, and that force buy has dividends. They go straight to 3 AKs. They'll keep the Tech 9 on Valens, who's the strat caller for them, and Semphis will keep out the MP9.
And Mythic most certainly know that those aggressive strats are going to be prevalent here, so they try to pull some of their own as they push themselves way over here into Squeak Hill. Desi already picking up one. Peter trying to get the slow peaks here, pick off one more, but not going to happen, and he claims 2 lives, both Lex as well as Peter.
While all this is happening, though, look at Semphis' position. He knows that they've pushed out long. There's going to be no one in mid. He takes full advantage of the map as a response to that. Really well played by him, and he gets the shot on a Devilwalk.
And it's going to be Pith over here that tries to hide out back over on side of the upper cat here on A site, but not much luck in that one. Pith is going to fall, and Anger now the last one, getting digged down to 20 HP, and it looks like he's going to fall pretty quickly after that one. So Maximum Effort kicking it up to 2-0 and not losing anybody else here as well. And as well, we're going to be looking at Semphis stacking up quite a lot of money, as is Desi at this point already. He's both sitting at pretty close to 5K.
Yeah, good turnaround. I mean, just getting that eco. They'll keep what they have as well, so no upgrades. Just adds to the bank a little bit more. Valens keeping that Tech 9. A little bit more of an upgrade for the pistols this time of the CTs, as we do have a CZ 257s. Brought out Pith, Anger. They're going to be holding on to those. And the aggression this time won't exist. It's not going to be pushed, at least, although it will from Semphis. He goes right back in the middle. It's going to be a stack on B, and already we're seeing, although that bomb is way back toward T-spawn, already we're seeing information gathered by Maximum Effort as they take the map control of middle, and they'll soon realize A is wide open, but who's going to back get the bomb? It looks like Hiko's going to have to do that in a second here.
Valen's also sitting extremely close to pretty much everybody on Mythic at this point. If he goes for that peek into B side, he is going to get met with a nasty fate there. Meanwhile, of course, Desi having much better luck. He's going to be able to find a headshot there and take out Devilwalk, as well as Valens finding another shot back over here into Peter, but very quickly falling back, and for he meets more resistance. Unfortunately for the rest of Mythic, they're all kind of trapped here. Valens is holding their angle at which they're going to try to approach A. As for Maximum Effort, they pretty much have full control of the site right now.
Anger takes down Valens, at least for a little bit of a consolation, managing to take down one gun, but unfortunately that was the Tech 9, so it's not even like it was that important, and there was lots of players around to even recover if it had been a rifle. Valens this time will take the MP9 from Valens. Semphis will go right to the AK-47, and talking with Semphis this week on halftime with Vulcan, we had him on his interview, and he said this is one of the things with Valence. He's more than willing, and actually he did upgrade to an AK here, but he's more than willing to constantly drop out guns. He knows his role is not to frag, just to lead, and he respects the talent he's got on the team and will always make sure that they are adequately equipped heading into the round. But it looks like they're going to put some pressure on a B here. Peter is inside the site, but Anger, more importantly, is inside the vents.
And he's going to be a little bit dangerous here, but that volley does come out into the ground. That's going to completely force Anger back. Takes about 20% of his HP off of that one. Peter forced to reposition here too, but a counter flash comes out and it saves his life for now. So he's going to be able to get into the corner. Gets a one-shot there, and Anger as well is going to be able to take down Desi. Now looking for more, but Valence does have a response to this one. He is going to be able to find Anger later on, and we'll see as well here with Hiko trying to work his way in. Pith will pick off Semphis. Hiko unfortunately gets dropped, but the rest of Mythic will clean things up here to bring the score up to 2-3 and take the first real gun round.
Yeah, and that's important that they get back into it immediately. So already a decent pace to this matchup, going back and forth as we see it. And Peter now with his op out. This could be interesting to see how this plays into the fold. There's lots of money still for Hiko, and okay, there it is. Sangst, he's going to go for the op.
We'll see how this gets responded to and where he's going to position himself with this one. It does look like at the moment they're going to push him with the main group, possibly put him up onto the boost, which would be a pretty typical position. But for now, he's holding back, and we'll have to see exactly where they put him for now, as he's actually going to be picking up the bomb, and he'll be hanging back a little bit closer to T-spawn for the time being, actually, as the rest of his team tries to work and set up for an A-take.
Well, fairly spread out. It's not necessarily going to be an A-take just yet. They've got Desi over towards Squeaky, just trying to lure and lurk anyone in that position. Hiko's inside A main. There's a smoke out, so he can play it from the lockers, look toward quad, get that angle preset. But the bomb and the rest of the team are still grouped up in the middle. In fact, Valence is now going over and doing a bit of reconnaissance inside the B tunnels. Anger's the only one left inside B because Lex has rotated out early. He's at sandbags in middle with Peter in behind him with the op at Z. So if they try and get a mid-presence here and get some establishment and overwhelm as they have done, and we've seen Semphis do in two rounds that we saw already, to get it up close to that op on Peter, Lex is there to support it. Peter is actually going to bail out and head over toward B. Because they haven't got any information yet, and now we're looking toward A.
Yeah, it was a moment ago there too, Valence with just that single player on the B side. Had we have seen him go in and get that entry, and had they have rotated quickly enough, that almost might have been a free sight. But now Mythic, unfortunately, misrotating a little bit here and moving Peter off just to go for that more typical split since they hadn't really gathered any info.
And this single smoke and flash that went in on Lex is going to hold him. He's not going to get toward highway, so Pith is going to be alone on this initial take, but it works out okay. He's got two so far, making a third. The Swede coming up massive right now. That allows Peter to get back in play, and he's going to take down Valence with the op. It's left to Semphis, and that's a bit of a tall task for Semphis to do. Pith surviving with 2 HP, and he was left alone to his own devices at the start of that take.
And what a huge hold coming out there from Pith as well. Pretty much secured the round for his team, able to tie things up and just barely keeping himself alive there too. Peter as well coming in with the clutch to save his life and pretty much secured the round for his team. Great hold by him and great peak timing there too. Essentially just walked right out and saw them as they were trying to enter the site.
Initial smoke for Peter on mid. That covers off Semphis in the garage, so he doesn't even look to get information. They're just going to group up, take these pistols, and go very quickly in toward B. So far, that's successful as Devil Walk pays the price initially, but Mythic, they hold true. The guns come out, and they pick up 3 response kills, leaving just Semphis and Hiko. Fitting that they're the last 2 remaining. We'll see what they can do with a Deagle and a P250, excuse me.
Agano trying to hold himself off while he waits for his teammates. Unfortunately, Semphis and Hiko not really want to try and peek this as they know the odds are very much against them, but Hiko deciding he needs to try and push something out here. Still a minute left on the clock. He tries to move in for Lex, but it's not going to come out too well there. Anger going to pick up another kill. He's going to come out of this one with a 4K, and Pith will actually claim the final frag there on the Semphis. Now Mythic take the lead 4-3, and this is where we start to see as well here. Obviously, again, the Maximum for guys still in a pretty good position to buy after going a little bit lighter in the previous round, but this is where you have to see where the strategy develops for these guys and what kind of game plan they're going to have to try and get themselves back into this. T-side obviously is going to be a little bit lighter to their normal strategy, but it still does end up getting to a point, unfortunately, where you can't consistently continue to keep your aggressive buys going into this half.
So Peter back to the op. It's going to be aggression toward middle and Anger. You get aggressive, he gets angry. He's going to take the shot onto Semphis. They've got player inside the vents as well. That's Devil Walk. He now drops out due to the fact that the Molotov does come through, forcing him out of position. That leaves Lex at the sandbags. Anger's going to come down to support it, but Anger's only got 8 HP, and there you go. Poor timing for him to rejoin the battle at mid because the grenade was already in the air.
And Sags coming out there. He's going to be able to pick up a headshot into Lex after Lex tried to get a little bit aggressive there and scout out for some info back over towards mid. So now let's see the Maximum Effort guys take up the mantle here. And as for Sags, he's still holding mid. He's probably going to group up with the rest of his team and work his way in through vents as they're all sneaking through B tunnels, or B halls, I should say, right now, trying to find their way into that site. And you can take a look at Mythic here. Unfortunately, the only player on that site is going to end up being Devil Walk. Still 2 position back over towards A. Peter's on a little bit of a fast rotation spot, and he's going to start to come in now after this smoke comes out. But it's our Maximum Effort. They need to try and execute this quickly, but it's all going to end up being a ruse as, again, they're all rotating back over towards A right now with Pith on the scout.
The interesting thing, though, is that Pith is exactly like you're saying, scouting this out. He's trying to get a little bit aggressive and get a read. The problem is He's so exposed when they come through. He may be able to catch the first one off guard. In fact, he goes for the peak, so that's not even going to happen, but it was going to be traded regardless, and now they're just going to walk in on top of A. Desi in the lurk over at B. He's gone down already, but again, job's done. Valen's going to plant this bomb, and now it's a tough task for the retake. It is still just a 3-on-2, so there's a chance for it. And Peter with the op got himself into an early position, but that smoke in place allows them to get secure post-plant situations. And what's the call again? It looks like, yeah. This is exactly the right call. Go ahead and save these guns. They still have the lead. It'll be tied up 4-4, but this gives them a bit of a chance in the next round.
The other problem with going for a retake there would have been absolutely 0 grenades on the Mythic players. They would have had no way to really surprise Maximum Effort at all. They would have had to hope on some lucky shots or some aggressive peeks from Maximum Effort in order to pick off early kills and then re-enter from there without any smoke support or flash support for that matter.
They'll get away with these Devil Walk in the corner. Eco's getting closer, but not close enough. So there it is. The round ends as we saw it last, and it's going to be 4-4 as mentioned. So what do? They've got decent money, 91.50, and, well, I didn't see Piths before the buy, but they've got enough. And by saving those 2 guns, they didn't actually have to force buy out on Anger. So this saves them another round potentially, as it's going to be AKs against them. The only op is going to be Peter this time. He's not going to have Sanks to counter off, but look at the smoke that's already on Peter. He can't even get in play inside middle, and they're actually playing a lot faster for Maximum Effort this round, as already they've made a presence inside A main. Now there is that initial smoke from Pith, but again, he's playing solo because there's some really long rotations as Peter gets in toward truck.
Yeah, a lot of people from Mythic here positioned back over towards the B rotation at this point, but they're going to start making their way towards A to hopefully come into way. But Valens, of course, he opens it up, and again, Anger really not getting a lot of intel out of that play, so that might pull a couple people over. They're going to go for the standard split right now, moving 2 players to either side, and as for Maximum Effort, they are going to go for the same main play. That was a good jump from Pith, as he is going to be able to see quite a few of the Maximum Effort players, but now this is going to prompt the rotation, and if Maximum Effort does decide to pull back and push into B instead, then it might end up hurting them more than it helps them since they've spotted this ink.
Desi just tossing out the nade toward the vents. I'll go for the boost. So light it ablaze and take over mid control, not having to worry about that additional angle. And Sanks being patient. Pith tried to find his own way in, and he's going to find another. He gets Peter as well. There was a kill that went toward Mythic and Valens, but that was over at B, so A is looking very probable. And Sempis again, he's playing the active Napoleon, divide and conquer, but he is going to be shut down by Lex in the end. And that is, he's the only player left for Mythic right now. That is still not going to be enough potentially, as that bomb's been planted for quite some time, and there it is. Desi's going to close it out.
Unfortunately, he gets trapped in Z, and that would have essentially been a death trap for him had he stayed there. So trying to get away, but not going to happen. He goes down. Mythic, of course, should still have enough for a rebuy here. Some of their players are looking kind of low, but might have enough for FAMAS play at the least here if they drop a couple of guns. Still deciding on if they want to go for it, but it does look like they are going to buy very, very late here, so actually their timings are going to be just a couple milliseconds off. Shouldn't be too much, but unfortunately the money did end up being a little bit low there, so we have a scout on Devil Walk. Peter still has the op at an M4 on Lex, but Pith and Anger on those the unsuperior guns, and Anger, of course. But now we see Peter, he goes for that aggressive peek. He is going to scout out the 2 players from Maximum Effort, but he misses the shot and really doesn't gain any other intel besides that, so not going to see a whole lot of reaction, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it does give them the initial read not to rotate away from A potentially, but again, there's so much time left that it really won't amount to much. They can reset all of this on Maximum Effort's side, but Desi still stays tight. That smoke's going to go out in front of the door. He won't have a clear vision in to peek toward Catwalk.
He's patient, though. It seems like he'll be willing to wait for that one.
I'm more curious just about Valen's rotation right now, because they are setting up with 2 players inside A main, but Valens has the bomb all the way back over toward the mid-garage with Sempis. But here comes the, okay, so it is still going to be an A commitment. They are going to go back toward this. In fact, they're going to boost Sempis middle. Valens is going to do that and then take the bomb into A main. Finding that kill on Pith is going to open things up because he got impatient and wanted to get information. Now it leaves just Peter. Lex is trying to rotate quickly, but we'll see if he can get there in time. As the first shot, Peter can't even find it. Sanks gets the kill.
And now we see them moving into the site here. Lex is going to peek out. He finds one, but gets dropped by a second kill there. That comes out from Desi as he holds control. Hiko as well, looking to pick off Anger as he is stuck in this corner. And Desi coming through. He picks off another headshot, dropping Devil Walk. Now Anger, the last player alive here, and now stuck outside of this site as well. Not a lot of ways to get back in. He's got that smoke, but he's only got a scout, so it's going to be a quick drop from Valens to take him out. And that'll be another round going out of the board for Maximum Effort, who now leads 6-4 against Mythic.
Well, we called it was definitely going to be close, but Maximum Effort, they're definitely taking good use of map control. Again, using those Molotovs and vents to make sure they clear middle. The late boost for Sempis just to try and split. Obviously, that time he goes down. But they're being calculated on their executions, and I have to take my hats off to them there because now already 6 rounds. That was the number we said they should get. To the pistol, he's going to take all of his team, aside from Pith, who's been playing so well alone on A. And the 4 others are going to push into those B tunnels early to try and get that pistol train and wrap around on the offense, but Valens is already putting a stop to that. He's got his foot down on top of Lex. Peter's still alive. It's Pit that goes down inside to Hiko, so the bomb's dropped in the A, so it doesn't even matter. They're just going to go for the kills. Yeah, and you were actually asking about Valens earlier in the last round as to what his position is. It was kind of, that's his usual position to play out. He's sort of put himself as more of the lurker towards B there and kind of trying to figure out what's going on with that site. And I actually kind of like what they did with him on the previous round where they had him positioned there with the bomb, of course with another teammate just to be safe. But what I liked about that was, again, if the A play had gone wrong, they already had people positioned a little bit further towards mid and even arching over towards the B side to quickly rotate in. And I mean, had they have gotten side control anyway, it wouldn't have been a big deal because all they got to do is move the bomb in and they still have control of their side of middle, so it's not a big deal to move that bomb carrier in. The guns are back up this time, so it does change. They're leaving B completely open right now to stack for middle. And Devilwalk, he's pushed up into the cubby. Lex is going to set up a crossfire as he gets to the right of mid. I know how the X-ray is so misleading and revealing at the same time as he goes inside A main, but there's nothing they can do about it. They can high-five through the wall. Late smoke out, though. That's going to cover off Semphis, give Lex a lot more room to breathe. It's looking like he might actually want to push this a little bit here, at the very least waiting for the push to come out from Maximum Effort. And Maximum Effort really sort of trying to test the waters here. They've gone for this 2-2-1 split and really nobody trying their way in for A main. Hiko just trying to draw as much attention as possible over to that area. But not really finding anything and not really catching any bait as of yet. But now we see the entry coming off back over here. They're going to work their way into the B side, followed close behind, of course, by Lex along with Devilwalk. So that's going to get very dirty very quickly as Lex comes in. He's going to find that headshot in a Desi. And the problem with this is like a retake on the B site when the bomb's not even there. It's still down toward T-spawn. This was just an initial entry to see if they could clear some space on the map. And by losing these players this quickly, it gets a lot more awkward. Hiko's going to get 1 kill back on Anger. This will give him the chance to go back toward the bomb, but Pith has already realized that this is down, so he just has to secure it. And where Hiko's running that quickly, as they get down below the 30-second marks, it was telegrammed for Pith to easily just pop out with the timing. Devilwalk to close on Sangst. It was a good round all the way through there from Mythic. And a little bit unfortunate from Sangst there, too, that he kind of just rushed out of the site. Had he realized, and again, he doesn't have the intel that we had, but had he realized how low both Lex as well as Devilwalk were, he could have very easily just gone for a single tap on either of those players to take him out and bring that into a one-on-one situation. Timer's getting a little bit low, but had he have rushed back to the bomb quickly enough where you could pretty much predict that the last Mythic player would have been somewhere in that area, there may have still been a chance to clutch out that round. But of course, he doesn't really have that intel that we know, so he was just trying to save that gun. Peter going aggressive towards Squeaky right now. Thinks about it at least. He hasn't gone through, now he does. Doors open, Desi comes around the corner and the op takes him away, and it's going to actually get the next kill onto Semphis before finally getting dropped by Valens. But it's Devilwalk inside the site who has to do it all now because Pith has also gone into the grave. That allows the bomb plant from Valens. And Devilwalk's retreated because he's low on HP, 13 in fact, so back onto highway for him, but watch this flank. Lex perfectly timed, he's already there. Hiko, absolutely no information or no read that he was going to be there so soon. And Anger, he'll drop down on Valens. It's all going to be Mythic to close up, bring this back within 1. 7 rounds already for Maximum Effort, not too bad. But Mythic definitely want to close out this half now that they've got the economy rolling. And this has been happening for a few rounds now. Unfortunately, Maximum Effort not doing the best of job of watching those flanks. We've seen that it's kind of been happening on both sides, but definitely a little bit more in the favor of Mythic, where they just constantly work their way around the Maximum Effort players and surprise them from behind to just completely clean them up as they're not expecting them to move in from those areas. But now we get in here to the 14th round. Very, very close match so far, as we've predicted. But nobody really too poor here as we had Semphis, of course, on that P250 just to try and save a little bit of cash and as well bring the nades onto the table so they can make their adequate entry. But this Molly does come off here onto boost early, and they're going to try to smoke it, but I don't really think it goes too well for them. So they'll hang back a little bit until this phase, and a lot more CT smokes coming off as well to prevent an entry on working its way in there through the main middle. But Devilwalk holding there that corner. He's going to be able to take down Sangst. Desi, he's going to move himself inside of the smoke to try and give him a more secure angle, but it doesn't work out. Lex picks up 2 more, and now all of a sudden it's a 5-on-2 as Mythic have this iron wall hold on middle. So far, at least, but Lex now just on the backside of the vents is going to drop all the way into B eventually. Bomb still at mid with Hiko and Valens. Devilwalk may have just spotted Valens coming through, but he's actually rotated back over. Not a lot to look for here. And again, Maximum Effort, they forced into this round, so the next one, they're going to be back onto a save. And Mythic will have a chance to wrap up the half. Valens is just going to try and peek up toward highway, see what they can find, get an early pick, and potentially overwhelm a site as they still have to have this defense split up based on the positioning of the terrorists and the amount of time that's on the clock. Valens will go down to Lex, who is waiting all the while, and it's down to just Hiko. 1-on-5, not likely going to happen here. Yeah, he's just looking to pick up anything he can, and unfortunately he's going to get caught a little bit off guard by this push from Pith, and that's going to be an easy frag for him to grab. So now tied up 7-7 the 15th round, getting started now. Let's see who will take the lead.
coming into the ending of the first half, and it's looking likely that it may be Mythic as they're coming out of this one with a full buy, all nades, full Kevlar, everybody's got a kit, and as for maximum effort, they're forcing up here with Tech 9s and a P250 on Senks.
So we'll see if these Tech 9s can work out for them. This is exactly how maximum effort started off this half, in fact, winning with the Tech 9s on round number 2 in the eco. So the initial smoke on A main, but they're going to go right through it. They've already flashed in, and Valens is already around the corner. There's the Tech 9 rush. This is why they're so fearsome. You don't have to stop whatsoever. And the movement speed, it overwhelms. Peter comes back with 1. So at least a chance here because that bomb yet to cross over, and there is vision for Peter, but he's not able to hit the first shot. And now the Molotov is going to lock him in position, just making sure that he's not going to take damage from that. But again, the bomb now is able to be planted. And in fact, it does spread. Oh man, that's so unfortunate. Mythic lose Peter because they thought he was safe, and eventually it did reach into him. Sank's now going to find Devil Walk, and we alluded to it. This is how it started for them. This is how it'll finish for them. Another eco round with these Tech 9s.
Anger, of course, moving in, does pick up 2, but Desi is going to drop. But now switching on to CT side, this is where things are going to get interesting.
Had a decent CT side. To give up that many rounds still, though, to maximum effort. Specifically now that they have Devil Walk and not Naf, who has that individual skill. To end fairly well. Pith as well looks excellent as we look back at some of the highlights in the particular first half, and this particular, in fact, in this round, the pistol round. But there's still a good chance here if they can get Pith. Again, you've got Semphis now to contend with. Hiko's looking fairly solid. Desi had some individual performances. Everyone's looking decently on point right now for maximum effort.
Yeah, overall, I wouldn't say there's any kind of low-hanging fruit here. There's definitely been some very highlight-worthy plays coming out from these guys so far, and they were able to make it. They were able to pick up 8 rounds. Now, of course, on the CT side, at least for Mythic here on the T side, I should say, the big key here is going to be breaking the economy early, because that's one of the key things that the players from Maximum Effort rely on pretty heavily in order to carry them, and that was the reason they were able to do so on their T side, was they kept a fairly decent economy for most of that half and were able to continuously buy, which is a huge part of their strategy.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that, and not only that, how aggressively and how well is that economy going to be managed from Maximum Effort? Do they start looking toward that double op that we talked about on this map? Because obviously that's a lot more expensive. It gives a lot more potential to be broken. And Mythic, if they can capitalize on that, give themselves an excellent chance. And of course, even better chance if they can pick up this pistol as we do start the second half. Semphis just going to peek out in toward mid here from the Z connector, but already 5 players from Mythic stacked up toward A. Pith at the squeaky, the rest A main. Peter just lurking back to make sure they're not going to get flanked out early.
Maximum Effort already catching on to this, though. Big rotation coming way over towards the A site. They're going to call this pretty quickly. The rotations are coming just a little bit late as the entry begins, but the smoke should give them the coverage they need to get on. And yes, absolutely, that grenade brings Lex down to 1 HP, and instantly those 2 players are going to get dropped. Valens tries to hold his angle, but Mythic Pyth is going to take him down. And now we see the rest getting into the picture here as well. Mythic is able to respond and push the players on Maximum Effort back, so they are going to be able to get this plant down, but keep in mind, Pith's so low. However, Anger brings it into his team's favor, but it's going to get traded back once again. Now everything falls into Desi. He's in a 1-on-2, pushes in, finds that headshot, but it's going to be Pith that closes it out for Mythic, and they tie it up.
I'm actually really impressed considering the amount of damage they took on the way through to the site, the fact that the rotation was there that quickly, and they were hesitant. Once they got through the choke points, they slowed it down. Pith came out from the squeaky door and just froze. They didn't get in, and Valens got in position ahead of him, and yet Pith survives to win out the 1-on-1, so really well done to recover that round from Mythic, because I thought it was going to slip away early, and now this is the economy start we were talking about. They can get into the rifles early. They have to be efficient, though. They need to make sure they don't do what they did in the first half and suffer to this eco. Because Semphis, again, they are going to split up this time a little bit more with Valens playing solo on B, but they've got a 4-stack right now with Semphis leading the way on A. Now, the question is, are they going to get aggressive and push all the way through A main, or are they going to slowly rotate off? Because right now, all of the aggression from the T side, from Mythic, is at B.
They're being fairly passive here with this B push as well, just to keep it safe, of course, but Valens is going to have to make this call sooner or later. Lots of mollies coming out. He's going to be able to securely get himself to the back of the site, though, so nobody's going to be able to spot him yet. And now we'll see that rotation coming out for the Maximum Effort players. Valens tries to pop out, but only does about half of the HP there to Devil Walk. Brings him to 32 to actually correct myself, but now gets dropped much lower than that by Desi. Will take up a position here from Heaven. Can't really find anything, though, as Anger is going to be able to take him down. And unfortunately, for the players on Maximum Effort, it doesn't really look like you're going to have much luck in retaking the site with just the pistols.
Yeah, locked out already. Devil Walk down to 15. But it won't matter. The rest of the players are in great positions. Lex below the vents, making sure no one's going to come through from B main. Pit looking at the vents, making sure Lex isn't going to get dropped on. The rest of them all firmly focused where the action actually will be, toward Heaven and toward Tree. And right now, Semphis just wants to do damage, knock some of these guns down. They won't even get that far, although he has held them fairly close to the bomb site. So are they going to get away? Peter should be far enough now. Yep, they're going to be fine.
The big thing, though, coming out of this one, obviously, even with there being very minimal investment into this round from the maximum effort players, I don't really think we saw them really buy anything at all, with the exception of a flash or two on some of those guys. They are going to be able to save the money, and they're actually going to go, this is an extremely risky force right here, as they're going to go for it on the third round, despite picking up no kills in that last round. And as well, they're not being on T-side and having the bonus of a plant bonus, so now this is going to be a huge risk they're taking on the third round, but it could definitely catch Mythic off guard.
Super solid mid presence right now. And it definitely could catch them off guard because technically speaking, they've got more firepower with these rifles. Not to discredit the SMGs. Lex in one corner, Valen's on the opposing side of him. So close to each other, and yet neither knows the other is there. Valen's is actually going to slide back over to the other side so he can get in the front of Ents. This will be able to give him a position to support Hiko much quicker, but he needs to be aware that Lex is still there. So as that smoke dissolves, he needs to be into position where he's not in no man's land. Okay, so back to the other side. Good play by him. Meanwhile, still spread out for Mythic as they look for information.
So looking for a good way to find themselves, and we'll see a couple mollies getting tossed out here to hopefully force out the positions, but Valence actually gets killed by that molly somehow. Not sure where that ended up blooming out from, but he's going to end up going down due to that. And now Hiko as well, holding over here in the mini pit. It's going to be Pit that takes him out quickly, but Desi coming out with 1 and 2 here on the pit, and Peter Anger finally going to be able to take him down, but now it's a 2-on-2, and Mythic starting to doubt if they still want to push into the site or not.
35 seconds. They do have time to reconsider, but not a lot. They've got to make the decision now, and it is going to be go. So 2 versus 2. Smoke Bloom, a little bit of a gap, but fortunately for them, Semphis was on the wrong side of it, so he didn't spot that cross. That allows Bomb to go down, and Lex doesn't even need to join on top of the site. He's got a better post-plant position in mind as he gets all the way back in toward B-main. 13 HP only for Sangst as he looks to try and come back in through heaven. And he'll wait for Semphis to clear the opposing angles, and then enter together they go. So far, so good, or is it? Not at all. It's going to be all Mythic. Lex finding one. The assist on the other as Anger takes down Sangst. And Mythic, that early force buy, we talked about economy going against maximum effort early on. Well, that's a perfect way to start that.
Yep, absolutely. That's gonna put them pretty far down here in Mythic as well, free to go for their upgrades, and now they have basically 0 risk on this next round, of course, unless we see a clutch play for maximum effort.
So Bomb going to be dropped over to Lex. Peter making sure that where they are on an eco, they're not going to push into the B tunnel, so he stays all the way back toward T-spawn, but it's a stack on A. All 5 players this time, not Valen's alone at B. All 5 players inside the A side and very forward positions as well, as that smoke is bloomed at the front of A main. Single flash in, and all they go. Valen's was the one to throw it. He falls back just in case they hit B. And so far they haven't found anything. Now they will eventually run. Here, Mythic heads back over toward B.
And it's all going to be put on the Valen's shoulders now. It's going to be very hard to do that. Gets smoked off. Not really any sort of angle that he can try to look through unless he fully pushes through this one. So he'll actually be in the smoke and trying to work a way out of it here in a second. He does get himself into the corner, but everybody from Mythic is repositioned out of his way. For this retake, Peter ready for this, of course. He's going to catch Semphis off guard. He drops him. Now they've got that angle clear. Devilwalk also taking out Valens, and that's another kill coming out for him as he's going to take. He wants to save that AK.
He's got no choice. There's no need to overextend here. Grabbing that gun, specifically after their economy just fell apart after the force buy, is a big victory. Well, it's not a big victory, let's be real. Winning the round would be a big victory, but it's a big consolation prize.
Absolutely.
It's a better way of putting it. Is that they only lose the single member. Now their economy can start to build, and without buying 58-50 for Devilwalk, that's another round already in the bank. Peter 34, he'll be close to another round, maybe not the op depending on how this one plays out, but 1,050. I can't even do numbers anymore in blue. I can do Kellers though.
Yeah.
My co-caster yellow, take it away.
So now we see Mythic here. Moving in, again, fairly stable positions here, not a lot of aggression. We'll be popping up with the door squeaky here fairly early. Going to bait out a couple shots here, and he's going to drop that molly as well to reposition anybody that may be back over there by the forklift boxes, but very quickly corrects that. He starts to fall back.
Semphis is in a prime position to get up highway.
Decent amount of damage over here on a Pith, so they still know he's here. Obviously, they don't know they've connected the damage, but they still have a pretty good feeling. And if Pith has actually called for the push to come over here, as Sanks is going to be able to take down Anger. Pith trades it back, but Sanks again with another nade kill. He drops Lex, and that beautiful spray finds 2 more headshots and drops both Pith and Devilwalk. Now it's all on Peter, and he's got to run for his life with 12 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, so it's his turn to be on the save this time. Again, their economy's decent. They've got another round in hand, but this is a good start for Maximum Effort to get back in. Bring it back to 11-9 as time will expire, and Peter, he'll get away with this. Semphis picking up actually that second kill that Sanks looked like he hit with that headshot. It was actually a support frag from the opposite side as he came back over from the forklift.
Mythic still with a decent amount, so they are going to be going for another rebuy here too, thanks to their multiple round takes that they've had here. One of the players is looking a little bit low, so it does look like we are going to have... Actually, no, apologies, got to correct that. I thought we were going to have a Tech 9. I thought Anger thought that too, but one of the players had enough to drop him for an AK.
Well, Anger last round had 8,050 after his buy, so he had more than enough to drop out. And Peter holding on to the op, that would have been the expensive drop they had to go for. So it was really good, actually. If you could save any weapon, that's the one you want in that position. So they've definitely managed the economy well, considering that round went so far against them. We're going to see Devil Walk, Anger. They're both inside A main right now. Again, Pith playing his lurk position out towards Squeaky. And it is still an A bias as Lex looks to join in on the raiding party. I want to see a little bit more mid-control, though, come out from Mythic at this point. Because the straight-up A takes are slowing down quite a bit when the weapons come out. And again, Semphis is in a hot spot on highway to rotate over, but they've got an open mid because Hiko and Valens are both playing inside the B site. So if they could get a read on that and figure that out, there's a really good chance for them to split on highway at A.
Yeah, and I mean, just keep in mind here too, all the pressure that Maximum Effort is putting onto it. If they manage to work their way in here and find those entry frags and take out Semphis here early and at least bait another player to move off the site, then there's a pretty big chance they can get a huge start to the round and pretty much have their pick of a site. But now we start to see an interesting move here coming out from the players on Mythic as they're going to move 3 back over here into the B halls. Anger and Pith will be joining them, so finally a change up in the strat. They're going to go for a B take instead of the usual A take they've been working so far this half.
Good late smoke on A from Pith. That's going to hold Desi. And Semphis didn't even spot anyone crossing over, so although he's close to B, he doesn't have the direct read. He does preemptively rotate back. Anger's going to make up for it, though. He'll find both Tico and Semphis. So Desi's the next one in line to try and take this site back into the control, but 8 seconds left. That ball
out and saves the round for his team to bring it up to a scoreline of 11-9. 12-9, apologies.
Beast mode, Sank. No fear to get in there. I'm surprised he didn't go down to Anger on low age.
He's going for the early push here. Pith pops out. Not able to find anything, though, and Semphis will end up taking him down.
Tico alone this time. Semphis is going to flash into A main, meanwhile, as we don't see that happen. Is smoked as well, so this means it becomes even harder, but Hiko forward position works out well, double for him.
And now Hiko's going to move in, trying to pick up the third, but we do see that player there, Peter. He's going to be able to get around the corner just in time. Anger's still in this play as well, and he's actually going to drop down and time to work it, but Sanks, unfortunately, going to kill the dreams of that one as he takes down Anger and leaves Peter again to try and save his op with only 14 HP and 20 seconds left on the clock.
And the big kill, the big impact that Hiko had there by picking up those 2 kills was the second one was the bomb. So that was it. Round was committed. All they have to do is hold on. Getting that extra AK, that additional AK on Desi. Yes, he didn't get to use it a whole lot in this round, but this is going to help their economy moving forward. And again, Pitt anticipated that push and still didn't win the exchange as 2 players came through. So good job by Semphis to collect that kill. And the Hiko double was just absolutely huge to hold that site.
And now Maximum Effort really starting to swing things back here. We have to see what buys are going to come out here from the players on Mythic in this round. And it does look like, again, they're just going to take it a little bit light here for most of their players. The Tech 9 does come out from Anger once again as he was floating a little bit higher above. But as for everybody else, the big weapon is going to be Peter in this matchup as he did manage to save that up. And look at this boost coming out.
Yeah, this is a conservative boost. You don't give yourself too much exposure toward middle. You'll catch anyone in transition from Z up toward highway. I by Power used to use this a lot way back. But there's a lot of a push, or a big push right now, in fact, from both Semphis and Valens coming through B, and Lex might get caught by this inside the big garage as Valens, oh, he gets dinked down. Excellent first shot by Lex. Puts him on very low HP. Very easy to clean that up with the P250, but they still have Semphis to deal with, and he hasn't been spotted yet.
And now Semphis very, very slowly pushing around. Might be able to catch Peter here in a second as he comes up behind these players, but Lex again spots it. Not able to find the frag, and now he's going to drop 1, 2. Looking for the third, but can't find Peter there, so he's going to be able to correct the issue. Now it's a 3-on-3. We're waiting for Mythic to go for their entry on the A side as it looks like they are going to actually fake it out. I should correct myself. Peter in here is looking for the peaks come out, looking for these players on Maximum Effort to try and expose themselves. And the other 2, they're already rotating over to B. And take a look at the push coming out here as well. I believe that's coming out at the moment here from Hiko as he tries again here to catch these guys early.
Semphis' timing on those 2 kills was massive because they were getting ready to go for the boost. Peter had to fall back off that, and it slowed down everything inside middle just by getting there when he did. If they got through middle, that was an easy A split. Yes, Semphis was still going to be on their heels, but It brings it back to a 3-on-3 now. This still has to split up the defense. It forces them to play a little bit more thin. Desi's in a swing position at truck. He can definitely support onto Sanks, but they're already inside the A site. Sanks hasn't exposed himself just yet, so Desi actually able to find the first kill, and Sanks still being passive in the site. He's going to take down Pith, who gets aggressive toward Quad, and now he's got a chance to take down the last remaining player and the bomb carrier. Does so successfully, so one round the difference yet again.
And we're just getting closer and closer to that contention point here. Unfortunately, Mythic, with that, or I was actually fortunately, with that save that they managed to pull off in the previous round, they are going to be able to challenge it. And actually, I think we're going to have a pause coming out here at this point. I think this is from the Mythic players, and this is hopefully a perfect time for a tactical pause as they need to take a step back here with the match getting this close once again and think about how they're going to try to re-pull this back. Oh,
and the advantage that we talked about that they needed to get, and the advantage that they had was the economy. That's now gone, so this is the perfect time for a timeout. They're in a position where they could go for the force buy. I'm not sure I want to see them go for it. I want to see Peter get the op out and be a little bit more sustainable with it. He could. He's got 52-50, but he would be really light on it. And then you're putting a lot into this round, where it's still going to be potentially 12-12. You're going to throw away a lot of economy. You know, if it was, you know, match point, definitely, absolutely. Yeah. Or even if they were on 14 rounds, absolutely, go for it at that point. But I'd like to see them be a little bit more conservative here.
Maximum effort still kind of at a very close point to where you could say they're stable or unstable at this point. The amounts are fairly low. Hiko has yet to buy, still sits at 47.50, and a lot of these other players post-buys are sitting at less than $1,000. Sanks at 150 right now, so they're still a very fragile team. All Mythic has to do is get one round on the board here to try and break them, and then once again they'll have pretty much complete control of the match.
In reverse, though, speaking about that force, if they've been keeping a track of the economy on the opposite side, if they know that they are low on income, on maximum effort. If they force it up and win this round, the same thing happens in reverse. They get the advantage because they'll break ME immediately and the advantage comes back. They go to 13-11, potentially 14 pending any eco, and they're in a great spot. So this is definitely a call right now that will determine the rest of the game massively in terms of money. So we'll see. Fallen, there he is. We said he stepped in this time. It's the shoe on the other foot. It's normally Peter who helps Keed out by being a motivational speaker when he coaches for them, and now it's going to be Fallen who's actually stepping in to help out ex-Luminosity as the new Luminosity player.
And Fallen, of course, has been really helping these guys out today. I was even watching him backstage before the match even got started, and he was sitting there. They were watching the previous match, even trying to guide him through some of the stuff that CLG was pulling at, as I think they're hoping to make it through this match and trying to figure out what exactly they can do. He really wants to help that team out and try to push them through to qualify for Cologne.
And the question's been answered. They've gone for the buy. Peter's going to go immediately for that glass cannon with a smoke and a flash. That puts him on 0, and that, like I say, is a big investment. Devil Walk forced to just go with the Tech 9. But they do have the 3 AKs out. It's going to be Lex, Pith, and Anger. And they're going against essentially the same thing on the opposite side with a slight upgrade in the fact that Devil Walk's Tech 9 is a FAMAS in the hands of Valens.
And only 2 smokes after they toss these initial ones out the mid. Peter almost grabbing a shot early on, but he is going to get tabs, and that's actually a pretty good bounce grenade there.
And they're going to go for the boost in A. We haven't seen them do this yet, so this could actually catch them off if they head that direction, because right now it's all going down on the B side. And Hiko and Valens are winning the exchange. Oh, Anger. Bit of a misplay. Looks for that initial shot as they line each other up, and he takes down his teammate instead.
Valens now falling back a little bit, too, to get himself into a better position. Lex looking for Valens, but it's actually going to be Anger that manages to find him.
Timing.
Picks off the headshot, and now, as we're going to see here, Maximum Effort players moving themselves in. Lex completely stuck inside here. Sanks, he is going to find the re-entry here from the Maximum Effort players, and now it's all on Anger's shoulders as he has to try and pull off this 1 versus 2 somehow, but unfortunately...
And look at Desi.
Yep,
Desi's
sitting right behind him. So he's probably going to catch him right off guard. And there you have it. Picks off the headshot, and that's the tie now, 12-12.
Well, that was the gamble. If they'd won it, they would have broken the economy. Instead, it's their turn to sit back on the pistols. So close when that initially started out, but such an early play to get out of A with the aggression and get hot on the heels inside the vents. And Hiko, again, he's a rock inside that B site right now. So many impact kills from him. We'll see the MP9 come out for Valens. Again, I mentioned at the start of the match, he's all about giving guns to other players. He knows his role. He just has to lead, so he'll limit himself to the MP9, but everyone else on full weaponry, and Desi, in fact, having an AK that he's picked up from the last round. And Hiko again already. He's taking down Devil Walk. Pith getting back into him, though, early with the Deagle. Nice shot indeed, but it's going to be all on B. If they can get this bomb plant down, there's a chance for them to get back into the next round a lot sooner, though. Pith needs to do it right now. Good job.
Valens though moving his way and completely clearing out the site, and now it's all on Peter at this point. Peter completely closed up. I'm really not sure what happened there with Valens. Peter, however, is going to be able to find that op for himself, but very quickly gets closed out, and that's going to be an easy defuse coming out. I'm really not sure what happened there. Valens was sitting right on the site in front of those guys, and for some reason it just didn't catch them.
I think they were 1 goal and 1 goal only. Commit to getting that bomb down. So the initial play was get in, get that bomb in position. 2 players already down. Valens just has to stick the plant, and it was a success. I mean, now they're going to have a lot more money to work with. They can get Peter's op back out. They've got AKs around it. So this, I mean, that bomb plant is massive.
So now we see what exactly the players on Mythic are going to try to do here from a strategy perspective of things. I believe we're also going to see Op picking up here, but picked up, I should say, by Semphis.
So not going with Sanks, they go back to Semphis, and Moses talked about that in the pregame about this season, how well he's done with that weapon. A lot of people don't think of him as an opper. They're going to go back to this boost as well in A because it wasn't spotted out the last time. They never went that direction, and they've also got a bit of a stack in that site because Semphis is there as well. Bit of a weaker mid, though. Anger's trying to take control of it. Really good push so far up, but he's got to be aware that Valens is there, and Valens is more than aware that Anger is, so he wins that first duel.
And now they take control again here. Valens trying to work his way outside and try to get himself into a better position, but those op shots coming off. And Lex as well trying to get himself inside of the vents. He takes his position by the box and is going to get that molly. That's going to force a reposition on Valens. He jumps on top of the sandbag, so might be safe there, but unfortunately for him, Lex just pushing right up there. And now we see as well a lot more play happening further towards the A site where they're trying to decide here on the Mythic end, do they still want to push this around or do they want to try to pull it back? As they get to that 50-second mark, and with Peter finding the shot, they're probably going to commit to this.
And that's op versus op. Really well done by Peter to win that battle. So Semphis not able to contribute when he picks it up. But here's the thing. Desi's still in that position, and the flash is actually going to catch out Devil Walk on his way through. And yet somehow still gets the kill onto Desi. He's going to turn back and also take down Sanks. So really good entry from Devil Walk. As Lex, he'll get in position to plant the bomb. It's Hiko to come in and swarm his position immediately after he knows he's in the corner. So good shot. Down to a 1-on-2. Still a chance for Hiko here, but he's got to play this perfectly. So far he is. He takes down Pith as well, 1-on-1, and he's going to try and use this fake defuse to his advantage as Devil Walk, already contributing with 2 kills in this round, has to outdo Hiko, who's picked up 2 of his own. And the 1-on-1, it is going to go to Devil Walk. Well done, and Mythic back into this one right away with economy after that round.
Such a close match here, too. Both of these teams bouncing back and forth round after round here, and you can see the Buddy's been sort of really thrown for a ride here because of this one. Both of these teams going all over the place with it, so now both of these teams are going to take a step back. Mythic, of course, is buying Maximum Effort. Thought about it for a second, but they're going to do an interesting buy here with 2 M4s coming out, and then Hiko, Sanks, and Valens all on pistols. Upgraded pistols for Sanks and Valens and a P250 for Hiko here, so this is an interesting buy. We'll have to see what they can pull off with this one.
And those 2 players did have a lot more money than their teammates, but this is definitely, as you say, interesting. That's one way to put it. Yeah. Valens wants to get aggressive in mid right now. Desi's back to support, as is Semphis, so a tri-stack this time not on the A site, but to try and support that mid position. So far, there's not really a commitment either. Pith already went to go for that lurk on A, but they haven't even put the 2 players in A main, which they normally do when they look to execute onto A. It's a lot more passive, so it could be interesting to see if they rotate back to B on this early read, because now they have not only Sanks, but Desi looking very aggressive toward the inside of that A hall.
And Valens again playing as a very aggressive forward position here. Mythic, they want to move in through this door, but they've got to be careful here. Lex pumps out, and he is going to be able to pick up that frag there. Unfortunately, Semphis actually doing a lot of the damage to Valens' death, but Semphis makes up for that. He's going to be able to take down Lex. Looking for Anger as well, and great job. That nade actually obscures the vision a little bit, and he's going to pick up the frag partially because of that one. Now holding a 3-on-4, however, Mythic down a man, and no way into that A site either, so they're sitting back and they're trying to find that entry frag that they can use to get into the site, but unfortunately it's not happening, and they're going to end up falling back and trying to surprise the players on Maximum Effort with an entry onto B instead.
Well, not so soon, because they'll fall back, potentially have that thought in their mind, but they are still going to look toward addressing this A, and they're going to put Devil Walk on the entry from main. Pith will come out, so let's see what the Swedish contingency can do, as Peter's just going to wait at beside with that bomb and look to the entry to be successful, and Pith gets one. It's traded, though. Desi's still a quad, and he's able to dodge out the initial refrag, but it's Peter to come through with the pistol, winning out on Desi. This lets Peter put the bomb down as well, but 4 seconds, he gets it in time. They're tight inside the site, though, not a lot of room to work with, but Peter, he never needs a lot of room when he's got the op. Semphis already dropped. It's down to the 1-on-1. Low HP, and Peter's going to pull it off. It's 14 for Mythic, and bye-bye money on Maximum Effort's side.
And this is absolutely ginormous here, with Maximum Effort just doing that force-up that they had done previously, where they went for the 2 M4s and the pistols. They're not really going to be able to afford too much in this round, so they have to save. And this almost, unless we see a huge mistake made by Mythic, this almost guarantees match point for them.
How close has this game been? There's been 2 or 3 rounds that, had they gone the other way, the shoe would be on the other foot entirely. The economy would be out of reach, and Mythic may not even be out of 11 rounds at this point. And yet they keep pulling it off. And the rounds themselves, not only that, have been extremely close. Multiple times now that we've seen that 1-on-1 play. Peter's going to wait this out. Semphis getting aggressive, trying to get a read at A main. And he's going to pay the price for it, the heavy price of his life. Sanks now is the only one inside the site, but he goes quick to join, not before Lex can take down Valens as he tries to rotate quickly out of B.
A lot of damage going on to Sanks at this point here, and Hiko as well. Trouble holding off. He's down to 12 HP with Sanks at 15. He is going to lose his teammate.
Anger again. It's the same play. It's Pith again as they line each other up. So another TK. This time it may not have quite the same impact, because they will secure this round. Desi, the last one left.
isn't really going to end up mattering that much as they still have pretty much full control. Desi's way out at this point with that deagle, and he's really just looking for eggs to try and deal eco damage at this point.
So match point Mythic.
And maximum effort. They are probably going to get one more buy to this one. The question will be how solid of a buy is that going to end up being with their money situation kind of on the balance? How many grenades, how many full rifles, and even Kevlar, how much are they going to be able to bring to this party here?
Desi with the deagle can't do much. And keep in mind that if maximum effort, lose this game, there's already no chance of winning the group. It goes to either CLG or Mythic at that point, and we already talked about the implications that has about the crossover format playing Cloud9.
Yep.
So the best they can do is book a date with them. I mean, it's a scary fate. We'll see if someone can pull that off, upset the juggernauts right now, but that's a long way ahead of us. That's not until tomorrow when we first got to figure out which teams are even going to be in those matches before we talk theory. But like we said, match point for Mythic. Anger, Peter, Pith, all looking toward the A site. Devilwalk going to go join them, and Lex has already pushed through the wall of smoke inside mid to try and get a presence, and there's no one prohibiting that at all because Semphis is at the truck. In fact, a little bit further, he's on the E-box with both Sangst and Desi in the site, and Desi, when the door opens, goes down. Sangst, he doesn't want the welcome visitor through the doorway, but Anger coming in from the garage is going to be able to get that shot quite easily, and Semphis has to run and hide, nowhere to do so.
Lex picking up the headshot onto Semphis. Now just 2 players left alive here from Maximum Effort, trying to bring this back into their control, trying to somehow save this match and going to save their chances of winning Group B here at the ESL 1 qualifiers, but it's not looking good. Hiko looking for a way and completely flashed by this, but so is Anger, but Anger's going to pick up that frag anyway. Valen's trying to respond, but Valen's now sitting at 9 HP. He will be able to take him down, but there's the peek. It comes out from Lex, and Mythic are going to take this match with a final score of 16-13.
I'm pretty sure that was the score that I said.
Was it?
It was. 16-13 Mythic.